Good afternoon, or good morning, or good evening, depending when you're watching this. For me, it's early afternoon. This is financial algebra, and this is stock market data. Now, yesterday when we talked about starting a business, we talked about the different types of businesses there were, and one of them is a corporation. Now, if you invest in a corporation, you get a share of stock, and those people are called shareholders. So the stock market down in New York City is open right now. It's open every day, every business day from 9:30 till 4 down at New York City on Wall Street. That is where the New York Stock Exchange is. And people that invest in stocks can make a lot of money. However, there's a lot of data that also has to be analyzed to make sure you can make money, because investing in stocks you can also lose a lot of money. So let's equip ourselves with some knowledge so that we can do well when we become stockbrokers. Now, a couple of terms we're going to discuss here is last, which is the most recent price per share of stock. One share of stock has a set price. When you buy and sell stock, that's called a trade, because every time someone's buying, someone else is selling, so that's called a trade. So these terms refer to the price at the last trade. Now, close is the price per share at the end of the day, which is 4:30 Eastern Time. And the open is the price at the start of the day, which is 9:30 Eastern Time. Did I say 4:30? I meant 4 o'clock Eastern Time for close. Now, the price from the close the day before to the open on the next day is not the same, because there is something now called after hours trading. Because of the electronic buying and selling of stock, trading of stock, it's constantly going on, so it can be different. Now, volume, when we're talking about stocks, is the number of shares traded. The number of shares traded can be very high number, thousands, millions, and that's what we use for volume. Now, net change, or sometimes simply called change, is the difference in closing price. So the net change would be whatever the stock closed at on Thursday compared to what the stock closed at on Friday. The price of stock can go up and down depending on the company and in the investors and whatever price they're willing to share. Now, what we're going to do today is go over the first few problems on that worksheet that I've assigned for this topic. Now, in order to do these problems, you have to look at that worksheet, and you'll see a chart like that. That chart is in your worksheet, and we need to be looking at that as we're doing these problems. Now, you see this data. It's for a made-up corporation called XYZ Corporation. And if we go down the data here, what we see is the dates May 5th and then another date May 12th. So this is data for two separate days. And you see it has the last price, which is what the price was at closing time. And you see the trade time is 4 o'clock. So that last price, which is the most recent price, is the same as the closing price. During the day, stocks can go up and down. So right now, as I'm filming this, it is 12:17 p.m. So whatever the price is right now is the last price. At the end of the day, it's the closing price. You next see the change. The change is 261, which is the difference between for May 5th, the closing price, and the closing price the day before. You see the opening price. You see something called the 52-week high and 52-week low. 52 weeks is how many weeks in a year. So those two numbers say what the highest price for the past year was and the lowest price for the past year. You see the current price, $52, is in between that $60 and that $43. So there's a range. Sales in hundreds is the volume. So the number there says 28,000, but that's in hundreds. So we'll discuss that a little bit more. And then during the day, there's a high and a low. You see those numbers. So during the day on May 5th, it reached a high of $52.60 and it had a low of $49. Okay, so we're going to use that chart to answer our questions. And our first question says, what is the difference between the high and low price for May 5th? Well, using the data that you have there, the high and low price, hold on, gotta find my marker. Sorry about that. The high and low price. Well, difference means subtract. So it's simply the high price subtract the low price. And if we look at the chart, the high price was how much? $52.60. And the low price was $49. So when we use our calculator and do that subtraction, we get $3.60 was the difference. Since it's money, we should use a dollar sign, shouldn't we? Okay. Question number 2 says, what was the actual volume of XYZ shares posted? Well, when we looked at that, we saw that under sales in hundreds, the number was 28,000. But that says in hundreds, so what that really means, I'm using this now, what that really means is 28 times 100. So you add 20 to that number, or you use your calculator, and you get 28 followed by 5 zeros. And if we group by threes, we see that that number is 2,800,000. Now, we also are asked to express that number in thousands. So if we take that number, 2 million, and divide it by 1,000, if we want to get it in thousands, we get 2,800. So it's 2,800 thousandths. Now that may sound a little confusing, and why would we do that? But sometimes the shares in stock get so high, or the total value gets so high, instead of saying, they'll just say, instead of saying 107,564,323, they'll just say 107 million. And they won't write the whole number out. So you have to know what 107 million means. Okay. Now, question 3 is a little more involved. At what price did XYZ Corporation close on May 4th? Well, it's asking about May 4th, isn't it? And our chart only has May 5th. So how would we find what the price was on May 5th? Well, it has to do with the change or net change. Remember, we said that if we take the May 4th price and we add the change, we get the May 5th price. The change is the difference between the May 4th and the May 5th. So we are given the May 5th closing price, which was $52.20. We don't know the May 4th price. That's the one we're trying to find. But we are told that the change is $2.61. So if we take that $2.61 and we subtract that, we will get the May 4th price, which is, and let me use my calculator, and you can use your calculators on your phones, of course. And I take my 52.60, oh, sorry, that's 52.20. 52.20, and we subtract the 261, and we get $49.59. We were able to do that, find out the May 4th price, because we knew the May 5th price and we knew the change from the day before. So from May 4th, $49.59, it went up $2.61 and closed that on May 5th. Okay, now if you look at following along on your worksheet, May 4th closing price says using the May 4th closing price from example 3, which is that, and the May 5th opening price to find the difference in prices as a percent increase. So there's a couple of steps to this. We have the May 4th closing price. This was problem 3. The May 4th closing price and the May 5th opening price. We want to find the difference first. So the May 5th opening price was $50.10. And the May 4th closing price was $49.59. So the first thing you need to do is find the difference. So using my calculator, I'm going to say $50.10 minus $49.59, and that's 51 cents. So that was the difference between the May 4th close and the May 5th open. Now that's the difference. We have to find that as a percent. So the way you do a percent is you take whatever that difference is, that 0.51, and you divide it by the starting price, what you originated with, the original we call it. So we're finding the difference between May 4th's close and May 5th's open. So May 4th's close is the original price. So we're going to take the difference and divide it by the original, $49.59. And if I take my calculator and I do 0.51 divided by 49.59, I get this number right here. That's certainly a strange number. I'm not going to write all those decimals. 0.010 may be enough. Okay? I'm putting a comma there. So what is this? Well, that's the decimal. We want that as a percent. And as you learned yesterday, as we saw, to convert a decimal into a percent, you move the decimal point over 1, 2. So 0.01 is the same as 1%. Now, if you take a look at questions 5, 6, 7, and 8, they kind of are very similar to 1, 2, 3, and 4. 5 is like 1, 6 is like 2, etc. So if you're having trouble doing those problems, go back and look at how we did 1 through 4. And also when you submit your work, I want you to also submit 1 through 4. One way it's neat to check that you've actually watched the video. And do the best you can to show as much work as you type in those answers. And thank you and have a good day.